If you're applying this cycle, you don't need more tips. You need to start doing the quiet things that make students stand out, right? Because most rejections are not dramatic. They're subtle, they're doubt. So in this video, I am going to give you the top 10 mistakes admissions committees notice fast across your personal statement, your activity section, and your secondaries. And more importantly, I'll show you how to fix them, right? Using ADCOM readable structure. So you want to make sure you're thinking about exactly how to navigate these pitfalls. Hi, I'm Dr. Josie. This is Write Your Acceptance. Welcome. So when I say ADCOMs, I'm talking about what admissions readers are consistently rewarding: competence, clarity, trust. They're not looking for perfection. They're scanning for evidence that makes them feel safe saying yes, right? That makes them know that you are a good fit for them and their program. So if you want support fixing these inside your own application and you're not guessing by yourself what ADCOMs are actually taking away from your story, complete our application. In the description. If you're a good fit, you'll be able to book a call. No pressure, just conversation and strategy. And you can learn about how we work with students from personal statements to interview prep. All right, so what makes mistakes more than kind of being unique? Here's the truth most applicants miss. You're not rejected because you're uninteresting. You're rejected because your application creates doubt. Doubt looks like unclear motivation, weak evidence, inconsistent narrative, right? Avoidable execution errors. Most students are trying to stand out, but ADCOMs are first and foremost trying to rule out students that are not a good fit. Before you think about being unique, you must eliminate that doubt, or at least, for me, in my opinion. Okay, so quick note. If you're applying soon, you want a writing partner to stop second guessing what ADCOMs are inferring from your story. Should I say this? How do I say that? I know what's wrong with my personal statement. I just don't know how to get it to where it needs to be. Book a call. Let's chat about how we become writing partners from your personal statement through interview prep, and we really maximize your candidacy. All right, so here are the top 10 mistakes. And kind of let's do a little breakdown. First, writing a personal statement that sounds like a resume. That's a really, really common one. The personal statement sounds like, and then I did this. After that, I volunteered here. And then I shadowed and I became a medical scribe there because, and then there's no real narrative, right? It's chronology. A weak example. During college, I volunteered at a clinic, conducted research, and shadowed physicians, which really strengthened my desire to pursue medicine. Okay, this is kind of like a summary. There's no moment, no reflection, no kind of decision logic that you're showing what, you did in this like catalytic moment, or there's an evidence of like a pattern of consistency that you kind of, grew in your maturity or deepened your maturity. So you want to think about your personal statement as kind of a series of decisions that you're unfolding, that you were intentional of building kind of, you're scaffolding one experience over another. So you want to make sure also that you're addressing whether or not, this application is for PA or a nurse practitioner or a public health. What are the physician level responsibilities? This is mistake 2 that you want to kind of see. So you want to make sure that you are really framing your experiences to show why medicine. For example, working as an MA taught me that I didn't just want to implement care plans. I wanted to construct and build them with patients. I became increasingly drawn to diagnostic reasoning and longitudinal responsibility. And then they kind of go into an experience, right? So this is like a clear kind of distinct boundary. It's kind of reflecting on the role of a physician. Okay, number 3, generic why medicine. So you want to make sure that you are not saying lines like, I want to help people, or, I want to kind of move away from medicine blends science and compassion, or I'm passionate about serving others. They're good and they're true, absolutely true, but you want to make sure that you're anchoring them in things that only you can say. So instead of I am compassionate, say, I noticed a patient hesitating to ask questions once the physician left, so I stayed back and walked her through the medical instructions. Once again, you're showing the evidence without necessarily saying that. You are building trust and showing, not telling. That's a little bit of that show, don't tell, right? You want to show that this is for growth, not a tally of things. So, sometimes you'll have something like, as a scribe, I documented patient encounters, updated charts, and assisted physicians. Okay, if that is the beginning of your 700 character activities, but you want to then shift into competency signal and understanding, something like documenting wasn't the hardest part. The hard part was watching how subtle phrasing from physicians shaped whether patients disclosed crucial information. I began to understand that communication is a clinical skill. And whenever I met patients, I would start with open-ended questions and really give them the space to speak and to converse and to share. So those types of things, right? You want to go deeper. Okay, number 5, really kind of having surface level service. You want to show long-term tutoring, consistent community volunteering, working with underserved populations. One medical mission trip for 5 days is not going to cut it, in my opinion. You want to make sure that you are kind of, going away from medicine as prestige and more as like a calling. Okay, number 6, you have shadowing only, but really have minimal clinical patient experiences. Shadowing proves observation, not engagement. And you want both. You want proximity, you want processing, you want strong clinical insight. So I saw how hard doctors work, that's surface level. I noticed how physicians navigated uncertainty, especially when test results contradicted initial assumptions. I began appreciating medicine as probabilistic reasoning. That's more in depth. So you want to make sure that you're kind of thinking about, do I have enough clinical exposure with engagement? Number 2 is sometimes the weakest link are in your secondaries, right? You want to make sure that the secondaries are complementing your primary, that you are showing kind of a new dimension of who you are, a new perspective, that, adversity is showing resilience, that the why us is really mission aligned with that specific program, that your gap year is showing how you deepened your readiness. You want to layer kind of your experiences, not repeat. So yes, you can say an experience that you kind of listed in your 15 activities, but you want to say a different story. You want to say a different kind of responsibility kind of perspective. And so give them more info, more kind of facets of the same experiences. You want to make sure that your experiences align. The why us for me is one of my favorite essays. And yes, it is hard work because you really want to make sure that you are mission aligned, but it really gives the student the opportunity to showcase how they see themselves living, learning, and serving that community, that program. Okay, so whenever you have red flags, you want to make sure that you are taking accountability, so a lower GPA, but you want to frame it in a detailed way. My GPA declined after working 30-hour work weeks, right? But I restructured my schedule. I sought mentorship, and then I raised my GPA from a 2.8, 2.9, 3.1, whatever, to a 3.8 for the last 45 credits. You want to make sure that you are showing upward trend, but if you do have a red flag that you want to kind of address, especially when they're asked in those secondaries, do you have a B- or lower in any of your classes? Do you have anything academic issues you want to kind of address, that you are addressing it in detailed, not emotional, but from a position of growth and from a position that you kind of remedied those kind of concerns, right? Okay, so taking ownership. And showing a trend. ADCOMS, I believe, first and foremost, reward trajectory. Okay, 10 and last one. Inconsistent voice across sections. This one is subtle but powerful. If your personal statement sounds very mature and reflective, but your activities sound robotic or inconsistent, that creates doubt. Or, you sound, because you have typos or mistakes or just kind of jagged language in your secondaries, it sounds rushed. So you want to kind of smooth signals, smooth language, sophisticated critical thinking, really kind of smooth out those. It really strengthens your voice all along. Sometimes I'll get asked from students, do you work with students on just a personal statement or just this one section? And the truth is that I used to, but I don't anymore, because I want to make sure that for the students that we're working with, that we are really navigating everything as strong as possible, that we are building a writing partnership that carries them through all major facets of the messaging aspect, so that you don't have this and you remedy that doubt, right? You are signaling all the right kind of competencies and all the right experiences in a way that is strong to your application, but also kind of, what you're saying and how you're saying it is complementary to really, really showcase yourself and not reveal any possible aspects of doubt. All right. So overall, most rejections are not about intelligence. They're not about whether or not the student wants it bad enough. It's really avoidable doubt. So top 10 mistakes, a resume style personal statement, no decision kind of clarity in your messaging, generic language, right? Tasks, not growth, weak service, shallow clinical insight without kind of patient engagement, repetitive secondaries. You want them to complement, not repeat. Challenging school list where you're not giving yourself a chance because it's not mission aligned or balanced. Fixing these changes will impact your outcome, or can very much impact your outcome. If you want to learn how I work with students directly in your writing, from personal statement through interview prep, complete our application, book a call, no pressure, just a real conversation about how what we do really moves the needle for your cycle. So this is not for you if, and I'll be very honest, you want a quick proofread, not what we focus on. If you want a template, every application for me is unique and every story needs that and demands that tailored attention. If you want a done for you work without being kind of coached and, work together, not for you. If you're not willing to really revise, you just really want like a kind of like, let's just look at typos and copy edit it, not for you. We are really getting in the weeds. So our kind of strategy is structured, it's layered, and I do put my students to work. I'm not going to lie, but we are building the strongest, absolutely strongest applications possible. So if you want to learn how we work with students, book your call and we could chat. And yeah, I hope this was helpful. Give us a like and I will see you soon. Have a good one.